Hey, hey, hey! We are live. Game Toppers 4.5 Galactic. Welcome, everybody. Joining me today on the show is Josiah here, master of logistics and everything else that's important to make sure you get everything you need. Many of you have heard that Josiah had a sports injury and really messed up his elbow, but he's had a successful surgery and he is on the mend, and we are glad to have him back. We also have with us master of a lot of things gaming. We have Jay. That wasn't good.
It's fine. It's just Jay.
This is a fly by the seat of your pants deal. So no, this is Jay Shelanskey from the Fifth Trooper Network. He has a huge following in the Star Wars Legion, Marvel Crisis Protocol. He has a podcast. But he's also an amazing graphic designer. And we've been working with Jay producing mats for his company and now for our company. And he's done many of the terrain mats in the past campaigns, as well as what we're doing now. And the terrain packs, the new galactic rails. It's really been spectacular, the type of things that Jay has been able to bring to Game Toppers and help another segment of gaming. So we're going to talk about that a little bit, but welcome, Jay.
Hello. Thank you for having me.
Very good to have you. We're going to go through a few items. And so if you have any questions, do we have the live chat? If we're going to go through some live questions, obviously it takes a little bit of time sometimes for people to join in. So we're going to talk about the campaign for a little while and a couple of the items to go through where we're at right now and some things that we're talking about. We only have 7 days left of the campaign. And while we go through that, feel free to list your questions in the live chat, and then we will be able to respond to those live. For those of you that are watching this late because you were unable to attend, we tried to do it in Eastern time zone around noon and then carrying over into the Central time zone noontime. But we realized not everybody can make it. But we do hope that this provides a real informative time for you as you're joining the campaign. If you have any questions, any concerns, any ideas, we'd love to hear them, and we'd be happy to answer those. And then likewise, we're going to go through some of the ideas. So Jay, before we get into the campaign and while we're waiting for some people to join, could you tell us a little bit about your involvement in the board game space and in the miniatures gaming hobby?
Yeah, so I've obviously a lifelong gaming fan. My first entry really into this world, both in board games and miniature gaming, was probably I was 19 and learned how to play Warhammer Fantasy. So that was several years ago, over 20 years ago, and that's kind of where I started and just grew, from there into playing Magic the Gathering and then started getting into board games and all other things. I about 2017, I think it was, I was at Gen Con and I had actually kickstarted a game called Cubicle Raiders, and we were at Gen Con demoing it in they had the preview area where you could get people to come in and game test your game for you. And so we were there doing that. And then a year later, roughly, Star Wars Legion came out, and I just became obsessed with that game and started the podcast because we were talking about it anyways. And so then that expanded this wild journey I've been on for the last 6 years. With the Fifth Trooper, and we have multiple podcasts, and we've done custom products for Star Wars Legion, and that's where I met you guys. Was we wanted to do mats, and I was doing it through myself and a manufacturer, and then along you guys came with some suggestions, and we decided to do them together, and here we are. But yeah, most of what I do is just for the love of my hobby and these games.
Yeah, it's been a pleasure to get to know you, Jay, because you've done a lot of things in the miniatures gaming space, which isn't really my forte. My background in the hobby is much more board game centric, but of course Josiah is much more of a miniatures gamer. He's had some accolades with Star Wars, Armada and different things, and he plays a lot of these war games. And I've done some miniatures gaming with Josiah too, with Flames of War, and when X-wing was the thing when we first started, and Armada, of course. So I have an awareness, but likewise, we are introducing some new ideas and new products to complement Game Topper's products. And there's a large group of people out there that just love miniatures gaming, and it's such a lifestyle type of opportunity compared to board games. We go from one game to the next, whereas Star Wars Legion, like you said, you dug deep and just went after it, right?
Yeah, and I think that's, we talked about this on your podcast a little bit the other day too, but it's that like it's a full investment when you play a miniatures game. Like board games, before I got into Legion, I was very active on Kickstarter. I have tons of board games that I've kickstarted, and I was spending a lot of money on that, and I was getting 20 different games, you know what I mean? And then Star Wars Legion came on, and I was spending triple the amount of money I was on Kickstarter for only one game. And so yeah, it definitely shifts, the it shifts your money and your time when you're only focused on one miniatures game, for sure.
Well, like these games intimately. Tell us a little bit of the inspiration for the terrain type of products that you've been making and that you've done for us, and then likewise the all new terrain packs.
Yeah, I mean, for miniatures games, for those of you who are watching this and don't play, terrain is very, very important to our games, most miniatures games, and that can be anything from buildings to space rocks to trees to all these other things. And so because that's such an integral part of the gaming experience when you're looking at miniature gaming, um, it becomes very big part of what we talk about every day on a podcast, how we approach the game, and then now with the advent of 3D printers being so inexpensive, right? The amount of terrain has just exponentially increased, because we used to have to build it out like you used to have to be like a model maker, and go to art school in order to like get beautiful terrain, like, and build it out of foam and like little pieces of wood and stuff. And now with 3D printers, you just get somebody who created some amazing STL file, you print it, and you're off to the races. And so that kind of led us to this Kickstarter, which is, okay, we have all this great terrain, but like all these different miniatures games have different rules on how they treat the terrain. And most of them, though, need a very specific outline in order to like denote what that terrain is, how big it is. And the more complicated that 3D files and terrain building has become, it's really, especially like in Legion and 40K, it's really caused kind of an issue in, is that in line of sight? Do I actually have cover? Because let's say we're looking at like a building, the porch, I could see you through the porch. So what kind of cover is that? Like, what is that still part of the cover? What's going on? And so, with these terrain packs that we put together, you get this really beautiful piece of neoprene with the print on it, and it gives you like definitive borders, and you can say, okay, I can now put my building on top of that, and we can go, okay, the outline of this little piece of terrain, this neoprene, that's the definitive border for this terrain. This is how we'll treat it. And so I think, if you guys have been following Game Toppers, Fifth Trooper is very similar, is that we're trying to upgrade your gaming experience. We did it through content, and like helping you there. And I think this is just another one of those examples of like taking, for miniature games players, taking that terrain to the next level and upgrading your experience to really like make it just a better overall experience.
Well, I know you had the opportunity to come with us to Origins trade show, and you brought a lot of your Legion and your Marvel Crisis Protocol miniatures, and we had our new Galactic Mycroft. That's with the new Galactic rails that are acrylic rails that are hot swappable. They're interchangeable with our previous D&D fantasy themed rails that we had from Brent Woodside. These just pop in and out of the topper. We're setting on our Watson Galactic topper right now. You can't see it in the picture, of course, but these rails can be taken out. And this is heavy duty acrylic, very solid with a heavy duty lamination that's over the top of it, as well as a vinyl graphic they use on vehicles. So it's very durable. Yeah. It's UV protected. The artwork is gorgeous. The viewing space portals that you have done, which we're going to show our campaign here in a few minutes, it's just brilliant. But you had the battleground, you had some of the new arid and the snowy grassland mats, and then you had these terrain packs set up. We should probably show some of that stuff while I'm talking about it. When we were at Origins, you had this all set up with the roads and the rivers, and I got to tell you, it was really amazing, right?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, and it looked, I think it was funny because when you're designing this stuff and you're kind of on your way, in my head, sometimes I can picture it, but it's not always, yeah, that's a great picture right there. Like you could picture it in your head when you're designing this stuff up. And like, I have an estimation of what this is going to look like in 3-dimensional space once it's all printed and set. But I mean, I was really happy with how everything turned out, and just how it all looked combined, especially with the space rails that we did and the mats and one of the reasons why I've teamed up with Game Toppers, for those of you listening and watching, is, I mean, the quality can't be beat. Like, I look at some of, I did mats before I teamed up with Berkey and Josiah, and I have mats from other companies, and I have lots of mats. And, when Josiah first sent me, I think it was the snow mat he sent me with the stitched edging and the 3mm, and it was just so much better than what I was doing. And what I had seen, that it was just like a no-brainer to like team up with these guys, and everything they do is like that. And when Berkey says about the acrylic with the overlay for the graphics that we're doing, I used to do in my past, I used to do vehicle wraps and vinyl printing and stuff, and he's not lying. Like, this is the same stuff that they put on cars. Like you're dealing with all kinds of weather and mud and rocks and all this other stuff, and that's what we used to wrap cars with. Like, it's the same exact thing. So when he says stuff is durable, he's not kidding. He's not like trying to sell you on it. It really is that durable, because it's just the materials alone.
Well, let's talk about that just for a moment. We can maybe pop up that picture again, please. One of the things that happened during the pandemic, we've always had a standard aluminum, and this is a military grade aluminum, T6 aluminum. That's the hardest aluminum that I can buy, and the most expensive, that is just under aircraft grade aluminum. So we spared no expense. There's other softer metals, but we wanted to maintain tolerances. We wanted it to be extremely durable. The powder coating process that we implement with our manufacturer on these things are bulletproof. They've been out in the wild for 7, almost 8 years now. A lot of conventions, Board Game Geek Con, which I'll be going to in November. They have 35 of them. They've been through like 20 some conventions, heavy use, tearing down, putting back with volunteers, 30 some publishers that have, and some of the biggest publishers in the world that have used our toppers in their show kits. And so this stuff is super durable. And when we started this company, for those of you that haven't heard the background story, is we were just trying to make a portable, high quality game topper, gaming solution that converted your home table into a high quality board game solution. But all along, it was like, it needs to be affordable, but I need to make it high quality. I want this
Mm.
thing to last. If it's not good enough for my own home, it's not good enough for someone else's, is really the way I think about it. Well, so we were able to design the standard aluminum, but then also the luxuriant aluminum. The luxuriant aluminum has an inset that allows us to put high quality premium hardwoods in it, which we've done in the past with our oak and our walnut. We even had a Kickstarter campaign where we had sculpted rails like our Viking and our Dragon. They were super cool. Well, guess what? After the pandemic hit, everything in this world just went nuts. Prices went through the roof. Our walnut prices tripled. When we fulfilled our last campaign where we did walnut, the 3.0 one, I had to come up with like $37,000 just to do the fulfillment of the increase of those walnut charges. And we didn't go to our backers and charge them a nickel for that. We honored our commitment to them. We've fulfilled, 5 successful Kickstarters now. But again, the reason I'm talking about these aluminum rails, the inlays, I just wanted it to be super high quality. And we want to assure you that these are built to last. So when wood prices, like this is a piece of the walnut, it's gorgeous. They're beautiful. These here, because wood can warp depending on humidity, we actually had those glued in with a very heavy duty adhesive. The acrylic, we don't have that issue. So they can just be sat in there with a tight friction fit. But what's really cool is we can do all kinds of things with graphics. We can actually simulate wood or granite. We can do new artistic designs. We're talking about a Viking themed top. Well, doing it this way, even though this is very high quality, it's about half the price of what the premium hardwoods are right now. So we thought this would be an opportunity for us to bring something that would provide variability to you, our customers, our backers, but also give you a high quality option that's a little more accessible price wise than some of the premium woods. Now, that all being said, in the future, there's very good chance that we'll bring back some of those high quality heirloom, gorgeous wood products also. But this is just another innovation, another opportunity where we thought, how can we get better? How can we do more for our backers?
Well, and I think, when you're looking at this, and for some of you who are new maybe to the Game Toppers world, a lot of this is surrounding that upgrading your experience phrase that Game Toppers likes to use. And, when I was working on the space one, the Galactic table, the thought is that having these inlays on your table, because the original ones, the non-luxuriant ones, are just regular powder coated metal, and so it's one color, it'll always be that color, and that's your table, right? But having these like hot swappable rail systems allows you to kind of make your room yours. It kind of adds that like customizable feature to your table that may not exist. So if you want it to be a dining room table, you can put the wood, you could have the one with the wood inlays, or in the future, if we do printed wood inlays, you put those in and then put the table dining covers on it, so that now it's just a regular table. And then if you're like, okay, I've got a week worth of nerding out playing Star Wars games and Star Trek, then okay, I'm gonna put the Galactic rails in and just take that immersion experience to that next level. And I'll be honest with everybody out there, and I was new to all of this. Like, really just the last like 4 or 5 months have I really been like getting into, working with the team here and like understanding what the toppers were and understanding like how they worked. And the more I've seen, the more of a proponent for the product I've become, because it's just such a great product, and all the customizing of it is really, for me, what is pretty cool. And then the fact that I could just pack it away when I don't need to use it anymore. It comes in those amazing bags, and it fits in a closet, and it's gone, and my wife's not yelling at me for having all my toys out on the table, so it's really great. So
Hey, Brad, welcome. Brandon and Brad are in the chat. Says hello from Bismarck. That's just not too far away down the road in North Dakota. And he says, good to see Josiah again. Yes, it sure is.
Thank you very much.
Well, I think we're going to just go through a few things of the campaign page right now. And I want to start out right at the top of the page. And I want to talk about a couple things that we've implemented. This campaign, we knew it was a 4.5 campaign. We were introducing some new products, and it's kind of a soft launch, if you will, into the Game Toppers world. One of the things that we've done slightly different is that the last 3 campaigns have been this way, but many of you know we offer a lot of products. There's an amazing amount of products you can buy. There's several different models of toppers. Don't have all of them in stock for this campaign. That's why this is a little more refined of what we're actually offering. But we've been known for some of our top quality high-end mats. And if you scroll down there a little bit, you're seeing the actual table being assembled on the topper there with the galactic rails. One thing I did want to talk about real quick while I remember, Jay talked about immersion. The whole gig with Game Toppers is about upgrading your gaming experience, and part of that's immersion. So we have a modular system. These rails, when you walk into the room, you hardly even notice these galactic inlays, but then all of a sudden you sit down at the table and you go, ooh, look at this. And we played Star Trek Ascendancy on this with Jay, and it was the coolest thing. We had the Starfield mat. We had all the Klingon stuff. And sure enough, I grabbed my bathleth off the wall and we just Klingon for a while,
That is all true. That is all accurate.
Yeah. But again, it just created that experience that was so cool. And the product sets up so easy, just like you're seeing there. It's literally 3 minutes and you're ready to game. Now, if you want the full-blown game table experience, we offer that now too, with really nice heavy-duty steel legs and a whole leg kit and these gorgeous dining covers with this beautiful powder coat. We even have some stretch goals that we're going to go, and we did something a little bit different called the Backer Boost. So if you scroll down a little more there, right here, we'll stop here for a second. Kickstarter free specials. This is a logo that we've included on many of the items on the Kickstarter page. So whenever you see this thing, you're getting something free and included in the packaging. So they're in almost all circumstances. There's a couple exceptions, but most of the time there's no additional shipping because they're going to fit in the package and so forth. So we went to go into the Backer Boost. This is something we've never done like this, but we wanted to do some things to boost the campaign. We wanted to provide some extra value for you, our backers. We have a lot of new people coming into Game Toppers right now that are just exploring, well, what is this thing? Well, here it is. Not only do you get a game mat, one of our premium 3mm double stitched edge mats that Jay was just talking about, we really do believe that our quality is unparalleled. We've sold thousands, tens of thousands, and 10,000s of these game mats, and people have come to know Game Toppers for these high quality mats. But we have 32 different styles you can choose from. It's crazy. 12 different sizes. It's remarkable. You get your choice of one free with our packages. But not only that, this Backer Boost, you're going to get an extra mat free. It's $120 value with the Mycroft package. I mean, it's really crazy. It's a super great deal, and we wanted to offer that. The next Backer Boost that we did was if you wanted the full table experience. We have these satchel bundles, what we call the satchel. Of course, we have the Sherlock Holmes themes, and the satchel was something he carried around his pipe, and the pink slipper tobacco pouch, whatever. Anyway, we've got a leg kit and we have the dining cover at a savings from what you normally would get it on our website. But in addition, you're going to get a free mat. It's like you're getting 3 mats now with your package if you buy this package. But we realize you're making an investment, a little more money involved, and we wanted to sweeten the pot. While we're here, we did add 3 pledges where you can pledge just for the satchel bundle. You will then be able to choose that free mat in the late pledge manager from Backer Kit. We've had a lot of people that have asked the question, can I just buy the leg kit? Can I just buy the dining cover? Absolutely, you can. If I made a separate pledge for every item that we offer, the reward section would be unwieldy. It would be too hard for people to even consume it, honestly. So we have the a la carte pledge. And for those of you that maybe have never backed a Kickstarter, it's really simple. You just pledge $25, you get $25 credit in the pledge manager, and then when that pledge manager launches right after the campaign, not too far in the future, you're going to see all the items that we're offering. You're seeing many of them on this page. You're seeing prices for our add-ons at the bottom of the page. You're seeing the double mat bundles that we unlocked that we're going to talk about in a few moments. All of the things that we're doing, the mat racks, the dining covers, all of these things are going to be available to you in a variety of different ways. But what we're showing on the page are these extra special things, like the bundles where you're going to get. So anyway, just jump in on that a la carte level. A lot of people, if they know they're getting the satchel bundle, or they know they're going to just purchase, a couple double mat bundles, they might add to their pledge a couple $100, and then that is a credit towards your pledge. But you can wait until the pledge manager if you like also. Either way for you, whatever's best for you. And what that does, if you add to your pledge, that dollar amount, you can change that, and that helps us unlock some of these other stretch goals.
John says, I have 16 Mycroft mats, soon to be 20 after this campaign, or 21 if it reaches 70,000.
Woohoo! Yeah, that's great. We're going to talk about that stretch goal, that 4 mat bundle. We went crazy on that one too, because not only do you get the benefit of the double mat pricing, which saves you a bunch of money, you get a 5th mat free. We've never done that like that. We've had deals where you could get the mat racks before, but this I thought was pretty exciting if you're looking at picking up some of those other mats that you weren't able to pick up on the last campaign, and these new mats, of course. Thank you so much, John. Thank you very, very much.
And Brad says, I love the 7 mats I've collected from previous Kickstarter projects. Looking forward to getting the water mat this time. Still undecided on the 2nd mat.
Woohoo! I got to tell you, Jay knocked it out of the park on that water mat. On our last Kickstarter, the #1 selling mat surprised me. I thought it was going to be the Old West or the nature mat, because there's so many of these Western Age of Steam train games, and then there's the nature themed games that are really, really singing right now. And it ended up being the horror mat was our #1 seller from John McCambridge, and it's gorgeous. I've got it back there on behind us here. But tonight actually, I'm going to put another update out, and I'm going to be going through some of our thematic mats so you can see them a little bit better in detail in an update. Last night I put an update out that allows you to look at a lot of the different offerings we were doing with the terrain mats, and the prior update about all the terrain packs. So there's some really good information if you click on those updates. But that being said, the mat that surprised me the most, that was our #2 seller, was the water mat. This thing was, when you see it on camera, it looks like the waves are shimmering. I mean, it's so much better than the graphics can even, everything. When you see them live, I got to tell you too about the dungeon, the new fantasy role-playing mat that we're doing from Brent and Kayla Woodside. I just got it in. I just posted it last night on that update and tried to take some, amateur quick photos for you. But oh my goodness, this thing is gorgeous. I mean, the colors they spent a lot of time to color match the designer art rails that we did on our last Kickstarter that we're going to make available on this campaign too. Off the hook, gorgeous. I mean, I go check out that update if you want to see some more close-ups. I'll probably post a little video on it as well. But I'm geeking out about our own stuff here. But I really do love these mats, and Jay just did an awesome job with that water mat. So yeah, thanks so much. Okay, going down, we're going to go through a couple more. This here is something we're highlighting at the top of the page. I just got this in as well. I put a little picture in the update last night. This is a Hudson size 30 by 38, which is perfect for the plastic folding tables. You're going to a game store, you're going to some other place. This is perfect for, like, I have half of my Watson is the Hudson. We have one in our camper. Well, this mat, oh yeah, baby, it's going on that camper topper. It is fantastic for deck building games like Star Wars Unlimited is all the rage right now. Star Wars, the deck building game, and Star Realms and its iterations. Jay, you just did a really nice job. Tell us a little bit about this.
Yeah, so a lot of the background behind this is obviously, Berkey and I are both huge Star Wars deck builder fans of that game from Fantasy Flight. And we were, so it started there. And then we were talking about with Unlimited being out and then Star Realms too. And there's all these great two-player space-based card games, right? And so a lot of the design behind this was, how can we incorporate all those different games? Because there's so many besides the three we're talking about. And how can we incorporate all of those and add, card locations on the mat for you that don't feel out of place from the design? And, that's a big thing when you're designing mats, is trying to design them in a way where they're usable for you, at home when you're playing a game, but also making them look good as well. There's always this fine line between the art and the functionality of any mat that you're designing. And so, Berkey and I went back and forth with what we wanted this to look like, what games, we inherently wanted it to support from its design elements. But at the end of the day, though the design elements are built into the mat, you can play any game on this. And if you just want like a space background, that's like a sci-fi background for like, TI or terraforming Mars or like literally anything, this is a cool little background. And it was a fun design challenge for sure. Trying to figure out, as you guys could see, as we're rolling through all the different games, making sure that there was placements for those cards that didn't make it look crazy or like out of place. So
yeah, Josiah had some influence on this. What do you think about this mat and with Unlimited and so forth?
Yeah, no, I really love where it ended up. I think it has that flexibility to match all sorts of different, deck building games. I mean, you could even play, Dominion or, any deck builder really fits, I think, quite well on this. It just has the flexibility and the space that's available. So
yeah, and it's when you actually see I noticed Brad made a comment and he said he saw the water mat at Origins. He says, I agree, the pictures aren't able to do it justice. And yeah, it's just how to translate, I could put on 20 videos, we've done a lot of our mats where we've actually have games set up on them, and you can go to our YouTube channel and you can see the water mat with 3 different games set up, and the pictures just don't do it justice. The videos don't do it justice. This mat in particular, there's little screws all over the bottom around the mat. there's some like scarring and blazer or blaster marks a little bit that Jay has put in, just little nuances that aren't distracting, but just had that little extra element that just make this thing so cool. I love this mat, Jay. You just really knocked it out of the park. I really like it.
Yeah, and that's, similar, like with the design kind of philosophy behind this one, that goes into all those other mats. Most of the ones that I've done for you guys are the train mats, with a couple exceptions with this one and the other galactic mat. And, I think it's really an interesting thing to think about when you're trying to add character without overwhelming, and that's
Right.
really with the train mats too. Like, how can I add character to this location that we're trying to portray without it being overwhelming and taking over the table, right? So that your game still shines, even though you have this beautiful, amazing mat. It's still about you and your game that you're playing, and the mat should be enhancing that experience, not taking it over.
Yes, absolutely. Well, let's run down a little bit more here. We also unlocked the double mat bundle. And what's so special about this double mat bundle is that you not only are getting a better price than what you would normally get buying one mat, you're saving some money. You're also getting 2 of the storage bags. These are not cheap bags. These are gorgeous, heavy duty bags. It has a double zipper on it. It has a clear window so you can see the mat that's in there. There's hangers on both ends if you want to hang them from the end. Nice solid shoulder straps. But all of that is included. And basically that second mat almost ships for the same price. So not only are you saving money on the mats, you're saving money on the bags, you're saving money on the shipping. It's a great deal. So if you're looking to get a mat, you might as well get 2, because honestly, you're getting the other one at such a discount. It's a great deal. But if people want to buy 4 mats, we're hopefully we'll unlock one of those stretch goals. But there's 3 different styles. Tomorrow, I'm going to do a little better job of trying to show you each of those. And I think Brandon just made a statement, said, I love the videos where you set up thematic games on the mats. Really shows them off well. Yeah, that Josiah, when I tell him my ideas, he knows what he's in for, because he's the guy that helps me with that. And the amount of work that we put in to show 3 games on every one of our mats, and a big majority of our mats anyway, and set up the game so it was accurately represented 3 and 4 players. We did that so people could, hey, how does this going to look on my table? Is this the size I want? Is this the theme I want? We're really, really trying to be here for you too, so that we can represent that well. You probably can comment about that. All right, moving down. If anybody has any questions, comments, feel free to jump in. What's new on this campaign is essentially what we started talking about. We have the interchangeable rails on the Galactic Mycroft and the Watson game toppers. Very limited amount of quantity. We only have like 8 of the Mycrofts left. There's a few of the Watsons that can still be had. For board games, the Watson is an amazing table. It does 90% of your games, but the Mycroft, if you're a war gamer, you're a miniatures gamer, or you're playing some of those big, expansive board games, Mycroft is amazing. This is a limited edition we're doing here. Of course, we'll be bringing more in the future, but it might be a little ways down the road before we purchase another great big block of aluminum. You're going to see that we also have terrain packs. We also have new terrain mats. And then we have a lot of special new mats. So we're going to scroll a little quicker here. We're going to go down. There's the interchangeable rails. You're going to see the video on that rail, so you can see it a little more in detail. There were some people that asked, could you provide a video to help us show that a little better? Likewise, the fantasy D&D rails that we did on the last campaign by Brent Woodside. Here's the arid mat. Last night, the update shows some close-ups. The graphic detail of these mats are so much better than I can even show you. They're just truly spectacular. And we're going to make this available in 3x3, 36 by 48, 38 by 60 Watson, 36 by 72 Holmes, and the 48 by 72. Currently, we're not making that in the XL, but we may consider that depending on demand. Likewise, the all-new Snowy Grassland, again, off the hook, gorgeous. When you see these rock piles, that's what's on the table that we're sitting on right now. The detail of these rocks, Jay, I don't know what kind of magic you did, but it's amazing.
Yeah, thanks. Again, that's one of those hopefully wow elements on these mats that aren't taking away from your game, but just enhancing it so that when you're playing and you get down and you look at something, and you're like, oh, this looks like, and that's the thing about wargaming, even though it's fantasy or futuristic or sci-fi or whatever, you still want to be immersed and be there, right? And so when I design these terrain mats, that try to emulate grassy snowlands or Mars or whatever, I want you to feel like you're actually battling there.
Yeah, Josiah, what are you thinking about these two that that Jay's done?
Yeah, no, I think they really look amazing. I'm looking forward to using them myself for the different miniature games that I play. So I just love having mats and our quality. To be honest, once I started playing on our mats, I really can't play on any other mats. So up until now, we haven't had a ton of options for miniature gaming. So I love having more things that I can use.
Well, and then thematic mats is, of course, a big thing. And one of the things about our thematic designs, we always create the art assets around the edge of the mat, generally speaking, so it's not overly busy. So it creates an environment but doesn't interfere with the game too much. And this is an offering that is kind of multifunctional. It's a 4x4 galactic mat, and this is designed for the Moriarty, which is included in the Mycroft. The Mycroft has 3 24-inch sections. So if you take out the center section, you have a 4x4 Moriarty, basically 2 tables in one. It's awesome. Okay, well, that being said, you can still put this on a Mycroft. You're just going to have some space. A lot of people stack their mats too. So you could have the space mat on the bottom, Starfield, and then you could have this one right on top of it. But what's cool about this, not only do you have this little cool design around the edge so you can put your cards or armies or different things, it's a 3x3 precision size, 3x3 center. Okay, these little grids are an inch apart. Okay, cool for a lot of different things, right? You can play X-Wing on this, play Shatterpoint on this. You can do all kinds of different things. But all of the mats that we're offering on this campaign, we're adding 7 new terrain mats in the 3-foot by 3-foot size that we've not offered in that size because they're perfect for these smaller footprints, our Lestrade size, which you can have a topper for also. But you can pop on the water mat in the middle of there if you wanted, or the sand, or the desert, the battleground. You could add all of those mats to create this immersive environment. Jay, what are you thinking about miniatures opportunities? And Josiah, you guys chime in on why you think this thing is cool.
So I'll give you a perfect example of how I used it the other day. I play Marvel Crisis Protocol a lot. And so I have the Mycroft here, and I busted it down took the middle section out, put the other 2 together. I put this mat down, and then I said, "Oh, hey, we're gonna be out in space, and I'm gonna be the Guardians of the Galaxy." And so I put a mat down, and then they have like space terrain for MCP for like all their factions that are out in outer space. And we played MCP on the middle with a 3x3 mat in the center, and then we used those edges for our cards and stuff. And it just adds so much to like the immersion of playing, and just taking it up to that next level. My buddy actually, what he thought was really cool was that center part. It actually is kind of like the danger room for the X-Men. So you could build like almost like paint terrain to look like they're holograms, and you could use that center part as like the danger room, and you could be playing MCP that way with just that center part.
Yeah, you could even do that with Legion. I remember I saw someone painted their army up like hologram, like target droids from some of the Clone War episodes. So you could have like that sort of vibe, almost like a holodeck sort of thing going on.
Yeah, cool. And then also this is going to be great for so WizKids has a new game, Star Trek Into the Unknown, coming up in a month or two, and they're going to be playing on a 3x3 too, and there's like a lot of measurements in that one for like what's in and out of outer space and inside the quadrant and all that stuff, and so this plays well with that as well.
Wow, very cool.
Yeah,
and then moving on down, we've got the fantasy role-playing map by Brent and Kayla Woodside that you can see here. There's some close-ups in the update that you can take a look at, and like I said, it's just super wowed by this map. I can see not just playing D&D and role-playing games on this thing, because the cobblestones are 1 inch, but they're so cool, but they're subtle. I can play all kinds of fantasy games on this. It's way cool. The Galactic Deck Builder we've already talked about. Way cool. I keep saying way cool. Terrain packs. This is something that the campaign is really featuring on. We focused a little bit on this, but there's so many different assets here. 4 different terrain packs, 2 different road systems, and a river system. Our intention is to add additional terrain ideas in the future to expand our lineup of this. One thing we're going to talk about stretch goals here in a few minutes, but one of the things that we've done is there's a pack where you can get these are, we asked people at Origins how much they thought these packs were worth. There's like 10 assets if we unlock all the stretch goals, and I think we will. What are they worth? And almost universally, people told us $40 to $60. And when people would told me $60, I was like, "What? You pay $50? You pay $50?" To me, that blew my mind. And Jay says, "Yeah, that's what we do in the war game world."
Yeah.
I mean, you heard all the responses, and we had a lot of them.
Yeah.
What was your take back from that?
Yeah, I mean, I was curious, but as someone who has spent a good chunk of his money on war games, I think everyone felt the same way that I did. And I think really what happened was once they got their hands on them and they actually saw them physically at Origins, they were like, oh, it was a no-brainer at that point. Like, I think it's one of those things like, if these were made out of cardboard or some other material, they're still really good and people would buy them and pay good money for them. But the fact that they're neoprene just takes it to that next level and just creates like not only quality, but also just durability and stuff overall for the product. And so once people like physically had their hands on them and felt the material and saw how detailed the print was and all of that, it just becomes a no-brainer. And I've heard not just like some war games, but there's even like I forgot the name of the game, but there was some board game that somebody wanted these for too. And so I think there's a lot of usage for them. So yeah,
one guy wanted them for Gaslands, and he wanted the Battleground map. And
yeah.
I mean, there's so many cool things there. So we have a pledge that you can jump in the Master Strategist, where you get 4 of them for $116. That's $29 a piece. But we also added the War Zone, where you can get 8 of them for $199. So that's only $24.75 a piece for these packs, and you can get 8 of your choice, because a lot of people are going to want 2 of the roads and 2 of the rivers and maybe a couple of the other. There's so many cool things there. You can see how easily they sat down with this little animated graphic that Jay did. It's so simple, and because these are neoprene and skid free, they're not going to move. You can also implement other assets on top of them or in combination with them. Like Jay, you had your Legion, destroyed ship on top of one of them.
Yeah, yeah. It's, that's the thing. Like the idea was that you could potentially use them, like have a building on them or something like that, or trees. But like, yeah, I had a destroyed X-wing, a downed X-wing, and I put it on top of one, and it made it look like it was going into like a little pond, which just adds flavor to it, and enhances like what you already have without you having to build more.
I think one thing that's really neat too is, we've got this awesome fantasy role-playing mat. Well, we can do things for D&D where we've got houses and buildings and caves. And I mean, we can do a lot of stuff where the roof comes off and there's stuff inside of it. I mean,
Yeah.
we could really have a lot of fun with this and there's World War II theater games. There's all kinds of World War. I mean, the possibilities are endless. So I'm super excited about the concepts here. There's some reasons for our product quality that we tried to explain, that this isn't just some little pieces of paper. This is high quality merchandise at a very good value. And so going down further, one thing I want to whip down to real quick here is just to go down to our packages. We've got 7 new styles of mats there in 3x3. We're also have a couple of the new thematic, but there's 32 different mat styles here. You can go to a website, gametoppersllc.com, and you can actually see all of the different styles on our mats page. That is probably the best representation to see them at a glance. These little thumbnails, of course, are a little hard to see, but it's very difficult for me to post 32 mats on this page. Likewise, there is our YouTube channel where you can go and check out all these different mats with games set up on them. This is our packages, and this is one thing I wanted to highlight quickly. We've pulled out all the stops on there. With a package, we're giving you all the things that you probably are going to want, okay? We could have priced it all separately and just said, okay, here it's starting at this price. Yeah, but we all know that most people are going to buy all that stuff. And I know that works from a marketing standpoint, but I didn't want to play those games, honestly. It was just like, here's the best deal, because this is probably what you get. And I discounted these prices significantly. These packages are on sale for less than what you can normally get them from us. But not only are they priced at a lower price, we have all kinds of add-ons going into this. Part of this package, for instance, is our #1 selling Watson topper, 38x60 play area. A lot of companies advertise their tables by the outside dimensions. Then you get the table and find out the play area is a lot smaller than you think. These are 38x60. The outside dimensions, 45x67. I have a Watson myself. I love it. I have about 700 games, I think, something like that in my collection. And I pretty much can play everything on it. There's been a couple exceptions. But that being said, the standard package here for $11.99 or the Galactic Rails for $13.99, this includes a mat. It includes our double cup holders that are the collapsible heavy-duty cup holders. These are not cheap cup holders. That can actually handle cups and mugs and cans of pop. You have 4 of single trays. You also have a heavy-duty storage bag. This is not a cheap bag. This is double heavy-duty line zippers, padded type of bag. But then not only that, we're unlock this stretch goal. I'm sure we will, but you're getting 2 of the dice accessory trays to put all of your bits. You can add a dice tower to that system. That comes with the little legs. There's a mouse pad. There's acrylic covers with dry erase pens, and scores or notes that can go on all of your cup holders. You get the coasters that go inside the cup holders, so you can put different beverages or use it as a dice tray. And also the player shields that if you have games that have privacy, those are all included. That's like $120 value. That's all included in the package. So not only are you saving from the website, you're saving by getting all this free stuff, but then that backer boost, you get an extra mat. So this is like $300 to $350 of savings that you normally would not get. So if you're on the on the fence and you can afford it, man, now is the time. Jump in on these packages. We have the Watson, we have the Holmes, which is the Baker Street package. And then we also have the Mycroft. We're almost out of that with the Reichenbach Falls package. And just super crazy good deals if you're interested in actually getting a game table. And then likewise, you can add the legs, you can add the dining covers, that type of thing. The dining cover bundles, we've kind of covered that a little bit, so we can move down here. I think we can move down into our mat storage solutions. This is something, we have so many cool things. I feel like, Jay, we were talking before the show that, you know, it's almost like we need to have separate campaigns just to focus on some particular items, because there's so many cool things going on here, right? And this is something that we started finding there was a big need for mat storage solutions. How many mats do you think you own, Josiah?
9 is how many I have, but that's because I don't have room for more.
And how many small play mats would you say you have?
12.
12. I know I have a couple dozen of them. It was always like they're sitting in the corner. They're all piled up. They're getting crinkled, especially those cheaper thin mats. Not like ours don't do that as much, but nonetheless, you know, it's like, where are they all at? Which one is which? Are they getting damaged? I can't remember where I put it. You know, they're in a closet somewhere. So we started making mat storage racks, and we have 2 of them. We have the 4-hole J. Burkton mat rack. This here can hold 4 of our premium mats, but it also, we've added a steel bar on there also, so that it actually, the picture doesn't show it here, but there's a bar for some smaller mats. Then we have the large Lord Burkton 6-hole mat rack with 2 of those removable bars that allow you to drape over your smaller mats. But then we thought, so many of us, we have these smaller play mats where we're taking for Magic, or you're taking for Unlimited, whatever. There's different usages. How do we store them? Well, we came up with this really cool caddy that we call the Baker Street Irregulars. And this has 4 15-inch bags that are clear, same high quality. They have Velcro on the back, and that Velcro attaches to the caddy. So you can attach 4 of them. Well, each of those bags can handle 2 of the smaller play mats. Okay, way cool. We unlocked a stretch goal that you get that whole caddy system, and it has hardware where you can hang on the wall, closet. It has grommet holes on the bottom with carbiner pit clips included that allow you to daisy chain this thing. You can add up to 4 of these and get up to 32 to 40 mats stored in one nice location. This is an $89 value. We're doing it on this Kickstarter for $39. But wait, there's more. Feel like that OxyClean guy. You get one of our 14 by 24-inch premium 3mm stitch play mats, $20 value, free with the $39. That was a stretch goal we unlocked. Crazy, right? Well, then some people said, well, what about my other mats? Will they fit in this system? And the answer is yes. We had to make a 26-inch version that is compatible with daisy chaining on the 15-inch version. Rather than Velcro, though, because the weight of larger mats, we have elastic bands that it fits in, but it essentially works the same way. And you can put up to 30-inch long mats in there. Like I have my Foundations of Rome mat and my Blood Rage mat and all of those, and they daisy chain. I have them set up on a wall over here. I've even put a 36-inch mat in there, and it works pretty good. We've reinforced the top so it's stiff, so it doesn't pucker. The bigger the mat goes, they tend to just bow a little bit, but it still works. So anyway, that's right there. You're seeing how those attach with that little GIF, and you've got this really cool caddy. I wish I could highlight this better of how cool this product is. We do have a stretch goal where if you buy one of the mat racks, that you'll actually get one of these free. We've got a ways to go for that to happen. So hopefully we can unlock that. And the last 7 days of this campaign, we are doing an all-out blitz with our marketing and doing a lot of different things out in social media. And honestly, we just need your help to share this campaign, man. If you're excited about these stretch goals, if you're excited about what we're doing, we're a company that's been around a while. We're very reputable. If you ask around about Game Toppers, ask about our customer service, ask about the quality of our products. And I feel comfortable that, you're going to get a positive result and see what our track record actually is. So you don't have to believe us, we have a Game Topper Nation Facebook group you can join. And it's just a bunch of backers. I said, it's not a place for customer service. You email us at support@gametoppersllc.com. Josiah will help you out, or I'll help you out. And but go into that group and say, hey, what do you think about this? Hey, what do you think about that? And you'll be amazed at the love and the amazing community we have at Game Topper Nation. So with that, there's the $35,000 stretch goal is unlocked, where you get the free mat. All the card items we talked about, you can add all the different things in the Pledge Manager. There's all kinds of accessories. We just wanted to show them to you so you can get leaf extensions and rails to make half of your topper a mini topper, or to extend your topper. We have the rail bundle, where you get the rail, the mat, and the double bag. You have the extension bundles, likewise, where you get the bag, an extra mat for the 8-foot, up to 8-foot size. Here's the stretch goals. Do we have any questions here? Brandon said he's looking forward to the final few days of the campaign. Yes, we are too. We unlocked the early bird special. This is where we're on all 5 of these packages. You're not going to have to wait a year. You're not going to have to wait 2 years. And in some cases, you're not going to have to wait 3 years, like a lot of Kickstarters I'm backing right now. It's unheard of what we do for delivery. Our backers know this. We usually fulfill within 6 months of our campaign. So we do a lot of work on the back end to make that possible for you, our backers, because I don't feel good about taking a large amount of your money and then making you wait 2 years. It irritates the heck out of me when I'm with other Kickstarters, and I understand, I get it. It takes time and blah, blah, blah. But, honestly, I know that we can do better. So I want to do better. So all of these packages will be delivered by the end of the year. We also unlocked the mats will be shipped. Now, when we say that, that's to US and Canada by the end of the year. We're not leaving out Europe. This does not mean that United Kingdom and Europe is also not going to get their product fairly quickly. It's just we couldn't promise the before the end of the year time, because we have to ship everything in bulk to those hubs in order to make massive savings on the shipping for you. But it's going to follow right after. So we're talking January, February next year. All of the European stuff will be shipped out from our warehouse. So likewise, you're still going to be within that 6-month period. And it's crazy. I had one person that mentioned that just about, well, you're forgetting us in Europe. No. It's just a little bit different process. We couldn't guarantee by the end of the year. Baseball Highlights 2045. You guys know I love this game. We have a limited edition mat there for $45,000 for $39, excuse me, at the $45,000 goal. We talked about, this $50,000 goal. We're almost there. You can get all this free stuff. 55. Jay, we've got one extra asset from every pack.
Yeah, that's we did a lot of work on these, and there's just so many different assets and things you can do. And yeah, we made a bunch of special ones for an unlock here at 55. So each pack will get an extra one. You got a moon, you got like a little inlet for the river system, you got some Y crosses for the roads. Those are really, really cool.
Scott, go ahead.
Good friend Scott Walton says, cannot wait for these, pulling me right back into miniature gaming. Thanks. Ha.
Love it, Scott. Love
Good.
it. Love
That's
it.
where you should be. Miniature gaming is a great place to be.
Agreed.
And Scott, you got to see these live at Origins. You can throw in the chat if you want what your thoughts were about them, but I know you got to see them firsthand. Well, then at 60,000, we've got a special on the Galactic Deck Builder. Normally, the Hudson size mat is $59. So this here is you're going to be able to get this mat for $49. So it's a $10 savings, but you're also getting the $15 storage bag free included in this $49 price. This is just going to be a separate item in our add-on. It's going to give you special pricing. But if you buy like a double mat bundle and you want to get the Galactic Deck Builder Hudson double pack, you can do that as well. There's going to be some options there for you. This was just an extra savings, which we're trying to do what we call customer loyalty specials, where we just sacrifice some margin and just make the deals better for people. At $65,000, we've got some really cool extra assets. We need to unlock this one, right, Jay?
Yeah, for sure. Again, we just keep going, and for the 65 level, we're going a little bit bigger. So it's hard to see in this graphic with the way we had to do it, but these are all like 9 inches by 4.5 or something like that for all the kidney bean shaped ones, and then the river one's going to get an extra pond. Then we got some T crosses for the roads, so you can make even more advanced road systems. And yeah, these were super cool to design, and these are big. And you know, for the 3 top ones, for the desert, battlefield, and grasslands, I was using those as like tree kind of like area terrain, they're really good for that. And then for the galactic one, yeah, that's a really big like asteroid belt for X-Wing or Star Trek or something. So these are pretty epic pieces for the terrain packs.
You know,
Yeah.
I almost want to use these just on board games too, where we've got our resources and stuff. I'm playing a space game. I want to put that big asteroid thing and put all my tokens on it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Scott says, I cannot stress that the terrain mats are great. The roads are going to be game changers, something that is missed on a lot of game tables.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah, it's a lot of work to, especially for even people who 3D print or scratch build their own terrain, 3D terrain. Well, roads are mostly flat anyway in the majority of cases, and they're really a pain to build and or print because you need so many different sections to make them modular so you can actually get the roads the way you need to go. So having it be a neoprene, customizable solution is just so much easier. It's so much easier.
Yeah.
Well, I know the feedback at Origins from miniatures, because our booth was out next to all the miniatures games. We took a whole bunch of little first impressions from people. I posted a 6-minute video of a whole bunch of different people getting their impressions. You can see that on our YouTube channel. Jamie Keggy, he said, Berkey, I really dig these. Oh, look at the quality of this. Sam Healy, too. He was just like, what? And there was this one guy, he had his kid with him, and they were talking about what games they were going to play on this. And then he goes, oh, look at those trees. Look at those trees that are all fall down. Oh, I'm going to use that. I mean, they got so excited about it.
Yeah.
And one thing too, I'll just add that in my personal experience with any sort of 3D printed roads or rivers is because they're so flat, unlike like a building or something, they tend to want to warp when you're printing them. Also, they slide around way, way easier unless you actually put non-stick stuff on them. So it is really, in my mind, I would never use a 3D printed road over the neoprene option.
Yeah, well, and one of the problems too is like for those of you that play miniature gaming, like anytime something becomes 3-dimensional, the more questions it invokes around how do we interact with this? And like roads and rivers are just kind of one of those things that like you can assign them, but like making them flat and making it so that they don't have any assignment, like especially a road where it's like there's nothing with this road, it's just there, you can use it if you want or don't, right? But it just adds to the design. But then with the rivers, one of the things I've seen in the past, I've used 3D rivers before. They weren't printed, it was back in the old days, but like when you get into it, sometimes your miniatures don't sit on it right, and they're like sliding off the terrain and they're moving. Miniature gaming's a lot like golf. Once the ball stops, it needs to stop and not like move anymore, right? Or it's still in play. And so when your miniatures are on something and they start sliding off of it, it really like messes with the game state. So you can have these rivers, have them be difficult terrain or impassable terrain or whatever you want them to be, but you'll at least be able to safely put your miniatures on them and pass through them without upsetting the game state.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm excited about the future of this stuff too, because we can make bridges and all kinds of things that complement. And one of the things that Jay did that I think was brilliant, and we even put a package for this, the Master Strategist, I believe it was called, that you get the terrain pack that matches the actual mat that it was produced from. So if you're buying the Battleground mat, you get this Battlefield kit. It's going to blend in just like you want it to. So it's that much more immersive and yet creating those obstacles. And when you see how those were designed from those background assets, they're very compelling to buy them all together, because it's pretty cool, right, Jay?
Yeah, and when I put them together, we really did make an effort, when Josiah and I were looking through all these, to try to match them to mats that maybe you already have, right? And designs that you already have. So even though you can get one-to-one matches from the mats that, that kind of were the inception of these terrain packs, ideally, a lot of these are going to match what you may already have as well. So you could get, like, for instance, our arid mat during this Kickstarter with the desert terrain pack, that'll fit that map. But then, if you already have a desert mat that you bought from Game Toppers from the last Kickstarter, these will match that mat too. I think Berkey or somebody else was talking about, well, what if the color's a little off? And that's good, because now you'll get that separation between the terrain and the mat itself. So you're going to be able, it'll just look really nice. It's going to just enhance that game for you and create some spots for you to put three-dimensional terrain on top of it, or you could just play with the two-dimensional terrain. Most games allow for that now too. So
yeah, and then at 70,000, we have this mat bundle, and essentially it's the savings you're getting from the double mat bundle and then doubling it, which was crazy. I mean, that's like 4 bags free. That's like these mats shipping for a much lower price. The shipping cost is slightly more there, of course, because you're doubling it, but nonetheless, you're still making that cumulative savings. And then you're getting a free mat. Now that's at $70,000. So we've got a little ways to go. It's like, I want to give everybody everything, okay? But I also want to stay in business and be here for you for the long haul. So I just can't give everything away. So we do need some goals to achieve to make it work too. This is a big deal. I mean, this is up to $150 value in the Mycroft. So it's a great deal. I really do believe, folks, that we can get there. In most of the campaigns, the last 3 days are normally about what we do in the first couple days. And that should mean that there'll be another 20 or 30,000 that will come into from where we're at. So I think this is very achievable, but obviously we need to continue to work hard, continue to do our part to market the campaign, and hopefully do whatever we can do to help get eyes on this campaign. And so that's where, honestly, I'm asking for your help. If you could email your friends and family, or if you're in board game groups and you can comment on ads that you're seeing or anything related to this topic. If you see our ads running, if you could share them, this means all the world. Getting that groundswell, if you will, of backers that love the product, giving their own testimony of their experience with us. This really helps. So if you could do that, we would greatly appreciate it. And that'll help us to do more for people, right?
Yeah.
And I honestly, I think we'll probably just shut down the show here at this point. We're running a little bit long here into the Central Time lunch zone. Scott has a comment here. He says,
piggybacking on the mat bundle, remember the great mat storage options, mat rack that are available.
And what's cool about the way this pledge manager is going to work, if you've never used it before, you can pledge a la carte and you can get all of these things that we're unlocking. So you're going to get really good deals, easy way for you to add on. But if you want to add extra dollars to your pledge now, knowing what some of those expenses are, the majority of our products are in stock. Of course, these new mats, the things that we're doing brand new, like the Galactic rails, they're not in stock, but they will be. The new mats, they will be. But a lot of our existing product offerings, you can see on our website, and our web store is shop.gametoppersllc.com, or you can go to our website and click order now. You'll see all of the products that are in stock. Basically, what we are limited on stock right now is anything that has standard 48-inch aluminum rails, like our Adler topper and the standard Mycroft. We'll have more of those coming up, but it's a big deal to go to aluminum. You don't just buy 50 sticks of aluminum. You got to buy about $200,000 worth of aluminum. So we've got plans. Don't worry. We're going to be back with a lot of really cool stuff in the future also. But I really pulled out all the stops on the pricing of this stuff, folks. So as all of you know, prices have gone way up. Well, we've kept our prices at or below what we've ever done before. So want to encourage you. It's a great time to get in, great time to get some awesome mats. If you're a war gamer and you want to see some of these new things, and hold the fort, guys. We're going to do a whole bunch of more cool stuff for war gamers. Jay has got a lot of ideas. Josiah has a lot of ideas. I'm going to come alongside and do what I can do to make sure we can produce some of the coolest gaming products for war gamers and board gamers. So I'm really excited about that opportunity. Jay, thank you so much for joining us, and just kudos and thank you so much for the hard work that you've done on all this stuff. I'm really, as I've told you, I'm just so pleased with the art, so pleased with the direction of these products, and hopefully, people like them too.
Yeah. It's one of those things, right? When you do art is so subjective that you never know what other people are going to like, even though you love it so much. So yeah, I hope everyone out there in Game Toppers Nation and all the new people coming in, I hope you like the designs that we did on this. They were from a place of passion and love for the wargaming miniature market, and I know once you get them in your hands and you see them, you're going to be like, oh yeah, this was really, really nice. So please get back it, like Berkey said, tell your friends, spread the word, and yeah, get in there so we can get some of these unlocks done so that you can walk away with double, sometimes triple your value on some of these items. Berkey's nuts. He's giving you guys a lot. So I would really take advantage of what you can get out of this Kickstarter right now, because it's a really unique opportunity to get a lot of neoprene for a reasonable price. So
yeah, Josiah's just starting to get back. Him and his wife are expecting a baby any day.
Nice.
So very excited about that too. And
yeah.
He's on the mend with his elbow rehab now and his broken arm. But we're both here for you. So if you have any questions or any concerns, you can always email us at, if it's more shipping, logistics, international questions for cost of shipping, we do have a really nice shipping chart at the bottom. I noticed something happened on our last update where our table of contents is missing for some reason. I'm going to go and fix that right after the show. But at the bottom of the page, there's some really nice detailed shipping charts. There's really good values for the size of our packages, and for small packages, it's not much more than what we're paying in the United States, actually, because of the bulk shipping. So Europeans, United Kingdom, take advantage of that. But if you have any questions, you can email support@gametoppersllc.com. And you can always email me at Burky@GameToppers. That's BURKY @GameToppersLLC.com. And I'll be happy to help you out. And if you have any further concerns, you can email Jay at no.
No.
I didn't sign up for that one. No, if you really, let us know your comments, even if you're viewing this after the fact. Let us know your comments in the YouTube. I'll get those notifications, and we'd love to interact with you guys more too. And join us at Game Topper Nation on the Facebook group if you'd enjoy entering that. And likewise in the comment sections, if you're already a backer, tell us your experience with Game Toppers. That always helps people get an idea of what we are as a company. So we appreciate all that. And with that, I think we're going to close out the show. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining.
We'll see you next time.
We'll see you next time.
Bye, everybody.